Here at the Universalist Unitarian Church of Farmington, every day, in every way, we bid you welcome. In this community of radical inclusion, we make space for what you believe, who you are, what you love, and who you love. Your whole self is welcome here. It is important that you showed up today because gathering in community is an act of rebellion against isolation and hopelessness. And knowing this to be true, please repeat after me. We are rebels for hope. We are rebels for hope. And that we are. My name is Nathan Whitehead. Hi there, I'm your service leader today. My pronouns are he and him, and thank you for spending your Sunday with us. Whether you're enjoying it here with us in person or online, hello. I'd like to extend a special welcome to any visitors who are here with us today. After this service, feel free to join us downstairs in the reception hall for coffee and conversation. And if you could take a moment now to silence your cell phones, but feel free to share on the socials that you're here, though, with us and take pictures if it so moves you. We've got a few announcements today. Two events that you should know about right after today's service is that during the traveling music, so the music that's played as we all walk out of here, we're going to go directly outside and we're going to take our annual picture. And so everybody's welcome. Doesn't matter how long you've been coming to hang out with us. Everybody's welcome. Gather out there for take a picture with us. And then after the picture, feel free to join us downstairs because there's going to be a newcomer meetup. Just to look for the table with the flowers on it there. It's a great way to learn more about our community and meet other newcomers. So if you want to learn more about us, join us there. Spooktober is right around the corner, and that means Treats on the Trail is on October 26th. See Becca Seaton if you would like to volunteer for a trail or a parking lot spot. And we also need help with food and decorating and cleanup. Membership is also looking for a few volunteers to help with some behind-the-scenes office and computer work. So if you're good with data entry, if you're organized and have some time to help us out, that'd be great. We're looking for a person or two to help, improve how we connect with visitors and guests better, update our name badges, improve some documents around our paths to membership. This would be a great job for anyone who's familiar with office work. You can see Liz Knight or other members of the membership committee or the communications committee if you would like to volunteer for that. And there we go. The annual service auction is coming up with the theme Living in the Mitten. It's about a month away. It's Saturday, November 8th. Mark your calendars. So who out there is registered already? All right, some of you, but I'm expecting to see a whole lot more of you. Who has already made a donation? Couple of you guys, all right. I haven't submitted mine. I've got several that I donate every year. I haven't done them yet, but I will. If you're still thinking about what you'd like to donate, we encourage you to get creative, both whether it being an event or an item that you think that other people would appreciate. Please get involved and support our community. If you have additional questions, see a member of the fundraising committee. And if you're here, please raise your hand. Karen Duguay, Juliaitis, Linda Brown, George Rourke, Barb Eglinton, Mark Petrie, Todd Goldberg, Brian Golden, there, Tom Adis, not here. All right, hi. Great people, see them. All right. Katie Corker. Hi. How are you?
Hello, I am Katie Coker, she, her. I am the executive board president, and I am here to remind you that next Sunday after service, there is a congregational meeting. Please plan to attend. We need to have quorum in order to make the meeting work. We will be talking about the state of the ministerial search, Kyle Stewart, our Vice President of Admin, is going to talk about the state of the ministerial search, how that process will go. He's also going to talk about what we learned from listening circles. We're going to talk about the themes that we saw that people are concerned about in the congregation and want to see going into the future. We are also going to take a vote for who will be the one at-large member on the Ministerial Search Committee. We have two candidates that we will vote between. Mike Lancina, raise your hand, Mike Lancina, right here, and Liz Knight, who is not here this morning, but many of you know her. Please read the candidate statements that just went out in the magnet. If you have not seen the magnet in your inbox yet, search your inbox for the magnet. Read the candidate statement so you can be an informed voter next week and plan to be here and be with us for a quick congregational meeting after service next week. Thank you.
Thank you, Katie. And lastly, there's a few opportunities for connection next week that I'd like to highlight. On Monday, we've got a couple things. The choir and the AA group are meeting. Tuesday's the men's lunch. Wednesday at 10 a.m., we have a writing practice group, both in Marge Brown Room and online. Wednesday at 7 p.m. is a membership meeting. And Saturday from 1 to 4, we have board game day in Adams Hall. We begin service by lighting the chalice, which is the symbol of faith that we share with the words from our mission statement. Please join me in reading our mission statement in unison. We seek answers everywhere, include everyone, and live with compassion. Now please rise. Thank you, Sarah. Now please rise in body or in spirit for our hymn from the Gray Hymnal, number 395, Sing and Rejoice.
And we're going to liven everything up, get you guys rolling this morning. We're going to sing This Is Around, as we usually do. We'll sing it through together once, then this time we'll start first, and then follow Ellen and start second. And we'll sing it twice as enough.
Hello, my name is Argo Kramer. I'm the Religious Education Coordinator for UUCF. And if you aren't familiar with the Wonder Box, this is an object-based learning where we have something in this box that correlates to the theme of the month and the theme of the day. So first we can give it a shake. You can tell it's a little bit full today. We can give it a shake. Do you hear anything in there?
No.
No.
Probably something that's really big.
Probably something that's really big. That's a good observation.
And soft.
And maybe soft.
And yeah, it could be soft.
Like something that you can't.
My goodness. Okay.
Oh my gosh.
Wow, you guys are geniuses.
I knew it was something soft. I knew it was like
Wait.
I saw it.
We have such smart kids, don't we?
Wow, this is such a nice big blanket.
Wow, look at that.
I'd like to have it all for myself.
Greedy orange.
So, our monthly theme this month is cultivating compassion. What do we think a big blanket could have to do with compassion? Yes, Talia? Could bring peace. I think something is compassion. When we bring compassion, we can share. And maybe if I was showing compassion to Reverend Karen, because Reverend Karen looks a little cold without a big blanket. I think maybe if I was cultivating compassion, I could share my blanket. I could unfold it. And we can share a blanket.
That's better.
If it was the middle of winter and I had this blanket all for myself, I could cultivate compassion for others by sharing what I have, which could apply to this big blanket, or it could apply to other things like food or shelter or other resources that you have that others might not. So today we're going to be talking about walking in others' shoes and cultivating compassion for others in ways that are unexpected.
Thank you for sharing your blanket, even though it's 86 degrees today. Isn't
Yes.
it? Okay. So, all month we're thinking about cultivating compassion. And so to think about this theme, we are going to tell the story of Clara Barton. Now, some of you may not know who Clara Barton is. So we are just going to share the story, and this is going to require a little bit of interaction on your part, okay? So this is how it's going to go. When we say the words, as we tell the story, when we say the words, gallop, 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 we will slap our hands on our legs. Okay, are we ready? Gallop, gallop. Okay, great. And when we say clippity-clop, clippity-clop, we will clap the backs of our pews and just go clippity-clap, clippity-clap. All right. Yeah, I didn't even have to ask you to do it. You just jump right in there. When we say taking care of you, we will be, don't do anything yet. Hold on. We will pat our neighbor on the shoulder to show we care about them. However, the first step is asking them. In UUism, we believe in what we call bodily autonomy, and everyone has the right to consent. So in a minute, turn to your neighbor and ask them. Say, can I pat you on the shoulder? Go ahead. You can do that. Go ahead. And then, if they say, okay, hold on, if they say yes, when we say taking care of you, then can I pat you on the
Yes.
shoulder? Okay. Then you'll go taking care, you'll just pat them. That's all. So we're just acknowledging. And if the person says no, that's totally fine. You can pat yourself on the shoulder and imagine you're sending love to other people around the world that maybe aren't here right now. And then finally, when we say the words ABCs and 1, 2, 3s, you will just repeat back. ABCs and 1, 2, 3s. Okay, let's just run through that, okay? Gallop, gallop, gallop. Clippity clop, clippity clop. Taking care of you. ABCs and 1, 2, 3s. ABCs and 1, 2, 3s. Okay, I think they're ready.
All right.
All right, are all our kids ready? Is everybody ready? All right, good. Go for it.
Hang on tight to the mane, Clara heard her brother call as she galloped bareback across the field. Gallop, a gallop, a gallop, a gallop. Clara was only 5 years old, but already her brothers and sisters had taught her to do more than most 5-year-olds did, especially in 1826. She was the baby of the family, and she loved learning to read, spell, and do arithmetic. Clara lived with her family on a farm in North Oxford, Massachusetts. Every Sunday, Clara's family drove 5 miles in a horse and carriage to the church. Clippity-clop, clippity-clop, clippity-clop. Clara's father had helped build that church, and Clara never forgot the Universalist teaching she learned there. She learned that God is love and that all lives are precious gifts that should not be destroyed.
When her family was not with her, Clara was very shy. This worried her parents, so they sent her away to school when she was 9 years old. They hoped she would make some friends and forget to be shy. But Clara was so homesick she asked to come home. When Clara was 11, her brother David fell from the top of their new barn and was badly hurt. The doctor said he might die. "Please," begged Clara, "let me be David's nurse. I'll take very good care of him." Her parents and the doctor agreed to let Clara try, so she stopped going to school. Taking care of you. Clara stayed with David day and night. She fed him, gave him his medicine, and changed his beddings. This was Clara's first job as a nurse, and she did it cheerfully every day for 2 years.
When she was 17, Clara took her first job outside of home. She taught a class of 40 participants from 4 years old to 13 years old, all in one room. ABCs and 1, 2, 3s.
ABCs and 1, 2, 3s.
Clara heard that some of the boys liked to make trouble for the teacher, so on the first day at recess, she offered to play baseball with them. They were surprised to see that she could throw a ball just as hard as they could and run just as fast. The boys felt a deep respect for their new teacher, and Clara never had to spank or hit her students with a ruler the way other teachers did in those days. A few years later, a friend in Bordentown, New Jersey, asked Clara to start a public school, ABCs and 1, 2, 3s.
ABCs and 1, 2, 3s.
Some people there didn't like the idea of a public schools because they were free, but that didn't scare Clara away. It just made her feel even more sure that she wanted to start the public school. She offered to open a school for participants of all ages and teach without any pay for 3 months. The school board agreed to give her an old building. On the first day, only 6 students came to class.
But Clara was so popular and such a good teacher that soon there were 600 participants coming. The town built a new 8-room schoolhouse. Clara wanted to be the principal of the new school, but in those days, nobody would hire a woman to do that job. Instead, the townspeople asked Clara to be the female assistant. Her pay would be only half the amount of money the town would pay a man to be the principal. Clara felt this was unfair, so she gave up teaching and moved to Washington, D.C. to find a new career. Clippity-clop, clippity-clop. Clara was living and working in Washington when the Civil War broke out. She saw that the soldiers who were coming home from the war were hungry and they needed clothes and bandages for their wounds. The government was not able to help so many soldiers. Clara saw what they needed and she used her own money to buy food and clothes for the soldiers. She wrote to the newspapers and asked them to tell people what the soldiers needed. People gave blankets, medicines, and other supplies. Taking care of you.
Then, news came from the battlefields that medicine and food did not get to the soldiers. Wounded soldiers fell to the ground and lay there without food or water. Many died of thirst or cold because there was no one out to take them to the army hospitals. There were no women nurses to help them. In those days, people thought that women were not strong enough to take care of the soldiers or be near a war. Seeing women on the firing line shocked the soldiers. But Clara knew she must do exactly what most people thought no woman could do. At first, the army laughed at the idea, but Clara kept on, asking until she got permission to go to the front lines of the battles. With a wagon full of supplies pulled by 4 mules, she came to the battlefield in Virginia at midnight. Clippity-clop, clippity-clop, clippity-clop. The army doctor who was in charge was very tired and he had completely run out of supplies. Clara went to work cooking and taking care of the wounded right away. Taking care of you. She even learned to take bullets out of wounded soldiers with a penknife. Later, the army surgeon wrote, "If heaven ever sent out a holy angel, she must be the one." After that, Clara was known as the Angel of the Battlefield.
For 14 battles, Clara brought supplies and took care of wounded soldiers from both sides, Confederate, the South, and Union, the North. Taking care of you. She nursed anybody who needed help because she still believed what she learned in her Universalist church. If you don't know, we were founded as a Universalist church when she was a child, that every life was precious. She said, "I have no enemies." Once, she was kneeling beside an injured man, giving him water, when a bullet tore through the sleeve of her dress. It hit the man and killed him instantly. Another time, she barely escaped from a battle by jumping onto a horse and then leaping from the horse onto a moving train. Gallop, gallop, gallop.
When the war ended, 80,000 men were missing from the Union armies. Every day, Clara would hear from women and children who wanted help to find their loved ones. President Abraham Lincoln asked Clara to come to the White House to help him work on this problem. 2 weeks later, President Lincoln was shot and killed. Clara was working by herself again. With money President Lincoln gave her and some of her own money, Clara set up an office. She asked prisoners and others who had been in the war about what had happened to the missing people. She wrote down what they told her and kept the information to help find the missing soldiers. But soon the money ran out and Clara needed to raise more. Since there was no TV or radio in those days, people would buy tickets to hear speeches about what was happening in the country. Clara began to give lectures about what she had seen during the war. But it was hard for Clara to speak in front of hundreds of people. She was still shy. "I would rather stand on a battlefield than speak at a public meeting," she once said. But large crowds came to hear her wherever she went, and she was able to make enough money to keep her office going. After 2 years of public speaking, she lost her voice and had to quit.
Clara's doctor suggested she go to Europe to rest. In Geneva, Switzerland, Clara learned about a new organization called the International Red Cross. This organization was started to help soldiers in battle, no matter whose side they were on. Taking care of you. Clara went back to the United States and talked to the American lawmakers and asked them to join the organization. She wanted them to sign the Geneva Treaty. This treaty was a promise by all the countries who signed it. The promise meant that during a war, doctors and nurses could take care of the sick and wounded soldiers no matter what country they were from. It was not easy, but she finally convinced the lawmakers. In 1882, the United States became a member of the International Association of the Red Cross. But Clara didn't stop there. She had an idea. Why should the Red Cross only help people during wars? Why not use the Red Cross to help people in all kinds of disasters like forest fires, floods, and earthquakes? She explained her idea to other countries. Many foreign leaders gave her medals for her work. Clara was president of the American Red Cross for 23 years and a Red Cross worker until she was 83.
So the next time you take Red Cross swimming lessons, learn Red Cross first aid, or read about the Red Cross coming to the rescue in a disaster, remember Clara Barton. She was a shy but very brave young Universalist girl who grew up to start the American Red Cross.
Thank you for your participation.
We make space every Sunday for authentic and vulnerable sharing, which helps to build this congregation into a beloved community. We invite you to share what's going on in your life, to name your feelings and the people in your heart in need of prayer, good energy, or best wishes, or other help. You are welcome to come pick up a stone or stones from the table, infuse it with joy or sorrow, and place it in the singing bowl, where that energy will ripple out for all of us to be held. Or if you'd like to come up, you can verbally share something that's important on your heart by speaking into the microphone. Everyone is welcome to participate in any of those ways. in this silent sanctuary of our hearts, one for the joys, one for the sorrows, and one for the strength of the gathered community that can support you and bring you peace.
Now we have our body meditation, and this body meditation is brought to us by Annie Scott. It is important to take time to be quiet, to be still, so we can be in touch with the deepest and best part of ourselves, our inner voice. Often called prayer or meditation, I invite you to join in a body prayer. I will show you the motions and then invite you to move through it with me once, and then we will all pray with our bodies in silence 3 times. We begin with our hands in front of us in the prayer pose to find our inner quiet. We raise our arms up high to open ourselves to the Spirit of life or God of love. We bring our hands to our hearts to affirm the strength of our inner voice. We extend our hands out in front of us to offer our kindness and respect to others. We lift our hands out in front of us to offer to others and the world all that we have to give. We lift our hands high over our heads, reaching out to the world and being open to all it might offer us. We bring our hands down, gathering in the gifts and bringing them to our heart. And returning to stillness, we bring our hands together in the prayer pose. Now we'll go through this 3 times in silence so you can follow along with me. Thank you.
Now, from your seats, please join in our meditation hymn, number 6, Just as Long as I Have Breath. Gray hymnal number 6.
Still with all I need to share.
Today, we are exploring how compassion takes form of moving outside of our comfort zone and responding to the needs of others. This game helps us explore how different things feel comfortable or uncomfortable to different people, and how courage and compassion sometimes means stepping outside of our comfort zones, especially when helping others.
So this is another interactive part. Does anybody have their cards that you received when you came in? Does anybody not have cards? Because our ushers stand up and look around to see if you don't have cards, raise your hand. And if our ushers could bring cards to the people, especially it looks like our whole front row doesn't have cards. Joan Ramsey, everybody needs a set of cards that are green, yellow, orange, and red. So our ushers are coming to make sure that everybody can participate. That's definitely one of our values, right? Everybody gets to participate. So we have some cards coming for you. So what this is, we're going to ask some questions of you. And then what's going to happen is that depending on how you respond to the question, we're going to ask you a question, then you're going to respond with green, like hold up the green card for I feel very comfortable. I'm totally okay with this. You're going to hold up, if we ask a question, but you feel kind of comfortable, it's a little scary, but you know, I can do it. You could hold up the yellow card. You want to hold up your yellow card. Let's just practice that. Hold up your yellow card. Great. Okay. And then the next question, if you are uncomfortable, this is hard for me, then you can hold up your orange card. And then finally, the red card. I feel very uncomfortable. This feels really stressful. Now, when we ask you the questions, then there are going to be a variety of things. And just because you feel stressful about something, that none of this is a judgment. So if you would like to, we're just going to look around. We're not judging people. We're not assessing people. We're not saying you're bad or good for liking this thing or not that thing. This is just for us to notice for yourself, because this is one of the important things about growing into maturity is being able to notice what's coming up for me in the moment and knowing who you are, right? So we're going to ask you some questions.
Our first question is, how comfortable are you eating a meal with someone new? Thank you. How comfortable are you offering to help when someone asks for it? Thank you. How comfortable are you saying, "I'm sorry," if you mess something up? Thank you. How comfortable are you trying something new in front of other people? Thank you. How comfortable are you standing up for someone who's being left out? Thank you. How comfortable are you dancing in front of people? Thank you. How comfortable are you talking about your faith and your values? Thank you. How comfortable are you being the only one doing something different? Thank you. And how comfortable are you telling someone how you feel? Thank you. We all have different comfort zones, and that's okay. What matters is how we treat each other and how we try to do what's kind, even when it feels hard. That's one way we live our UU values, by showing compassion, courage, and respect.
Thank you.
And now I'd like to call up Sarah Lukic to share her membership moment with us.
Hello, thank you. I will say to begin with that my comfort level with public speaking is somewhere around here. So if I sound nervous, then it's probably because I am a little nervous. So, hi, I'm Sarah Lukic, she, her, and the current executive board secretary. I've been a member of UUCF for about 10 years now. Why? Well, I was raised in a fairly liberal Catholic church, and while the dogma did not call to my heart, the community did. I'm so happy that I'd finally learned of UU. It's become a real home and family to my family. My kids literally begged to come. Our past principles and current values just give words to what I already feel. Freedom of religion is very important to me, and I am thrilled my kids are getting a chance to learn a little of everything. And I am so proud of the little social justice warriors you are all helping me to raise. I believe a religious community should comfort while challenging, and I think our ministers and our guests have been great at providing both. Volunteering in different ways over the years has been a real gift to me. Yeah, it's work, but it's also a lot of fun. I'm always working with great people, I get a sense of accomplishment, and I get to help ensure that this community continues to thrive. Volunteering here is really worth it. Most importantly, last spring I was thinking about how I always feel so good after I leave here, and why is it still so surprising after 10 years? I realized that it's the radical acceptance and inclusion we practice here. Like many, I can struggle socially and I can still expect to feel rejected, and that just never comes here. And it just means so, so much to me and my family to have that welcome. I could probably go on and on about all the support I've received. People brought me meals while I was pregnant and disabled. The fun I've had, trick-or-treat is like the best event. I absolutely love that. And the love I felt every time that I see people and the genuine smiles of welcome. But I'm gonna stop here and just thank you all. Thank you all for making this place what it is. It means a lot to my family to be members.
Thank you so much for sharing, Sarah. Our offering words today are from Paul Dalzell. The offering we take each Sunday is an opportunity to recommit to this place and to these people. It is as much a ritual as singing together, lighting our chalice, or reciting our unison affirmation. It is a reminder of that form of love we call generosity. It is how we show that we believe it is important to share Sunday mornings together, to help our community, and to say yes to those values of our faith. You are now invited to participate in the blessing of giving as the ushers come amongst you to accept these gifts of the congregation. You may also give online via the QR code on the back of the order of service. Thank you. Please join me in reciting the offertory blessing that can be found in your order of service. To the work of creating beloved community within and beyond these walls, we dedicate ourselves and our lives.
To reflect on compassion a little bit, I wanted to share a story from a few lives ago. About in 2023, I worked at a municipal animal shelter on the outskirts of Washington, D.C. I worked at the front desk, and we saw every animal that came in, whether it was a surrender, end-of-life care, adoption, everything that walked through the door, we had to handle. And the people, sometimes there were language barriers, sometimes there were attitude barriers, and other times there were other things where they would come in and have spats with my coworkers. I had seen people yell, specifically in the surrendering process, which means when someone has to give up their pet back to the shelter. I had seen people yell, I had seen my coworkers yell back. It was always a painful process for everybody involved. But mostly, these surrendering process, someone having to return their animal to the shelter, just made me sad. I would wonder what had happened in their lives to bring them to this point. We would see people facing being unhoused. We would see people going through separations or becoming very ill. And one day I was talking with my coworker who was complaining about the attitude a customer gave them earlier, and I said, "We're meeting her on her probably worst day ever." I asked, what would you have to go through in your life to have to give your pet back to the shelter? And they kind of got quiet for a moment and considered and said, "I never thought of it that way." And after that, we put up small sticky notes around the desk that said, some of these people are having the worst day of their life, be kind. And that really changed the dynamics of those interactions. I found with so many people, if you met them without judgment, without cruelty, if you met them with kindness and patience, they would reveal that truly they were just devastated. And it really helped us connect and grow. And that is just one of the ways that I think compassion has really powered through my life. And I bring that with me everywhere. When I see people acting out of the way they usually act, I wonder what has caused them to act this way. And that's one way that compassion plays a very large role in my life.
And I think of cultivating. I wonder, can any of our young people in particular, what do you think the word cultivating means? Okay, anybody at any age? Yes, what is cultivating?
Does it have to do with anything about plants?
We do hear it about plants
Yes,
sometimes.
we do tend to think of the word cultivating about plants. And when we say cultivating, like there's action involved. That's an action word, right? So it's a verb. We're doing something. It's not like compassion is a way we act around each other, but cultivating means that we are actively doing the thing and I think of it as like an ongoing muscle building. We're practicing cultivating compassion, right? Ongoing all the time. Like when we think about plants, sometimes our plants, we put them in the ground. We think carefully about what they need when. We make sure they're watered at the time that they need to be watered. Talia, I think you have a question?
No, I'm just asking.
Okay. Yes, taking care of others, cultivating compassion. And so we are cultivating that all the time. And so I think of it with our Unitarian and Universalist, especially with Clara Barton on the Universalist aspect. So sometimes it's hard to remember, but our roots go back to Christianity. And so one side, the Unitarian side, says we believe in one God, not the Trinity, and the Universalist side says God loves everybody. And the way we interpret that now, hundreds of years later, is all people are one, all people are loved. So those are two big statements, but what does it mean in practice? Because like the word compassion isn't a verb, it's not a thing that we do. Cultivating is the thing that we do. So I think of cultivating compassion, especially the last couple of weeks where we've been thinking a lot about immigrants, right? So I think of sometimes that cultivating compassion can be kind of two ways. It's active and sometimes it's passive. So, and I think of immigrants of things like I remember a conversation, I'm just going to call this out on you, Kelly, about a statement that we made about, like, how do we describe our faith? One of them is just don't be a jerk, right? Don't be a jerk. Don't make life harder for other people. Like, don't put an obstacle in front of other people's way. Don't make their life harder in some way. Like, even if all you did was not make life harder for other people, that's doing something. And then the other side is an active thing, like with Kurt and George making phone calls, helping out. Like you're bringing diapers or wipes or whatever. These are active things. They're both passive and active ways that we help to make other people's lives better, people that most of us will never even see. But that's a way that we live our faith. Try really hard not to be a jerk, to remember that many times you're interacting with people on the worst day of their life, even if they are not telling you that. There's ways that we can think of others in all things, and that in itself is ongoing, cultivating compassion. What can we do in this moment that is helping others? Remembering, when I think of immigrants, I've never immigrated to another country, but I can only imagine the work that people have done to work to make their lives, and especially their families, their children's lives better. What does it harm? How does it... I just get so frustrated, so angry, because I think that just like Linda's shirt, their rights are not a pie. We're not going to lose something. We're making the world a better place by including everybody. Let's not make life harder for other people, and especially for immigrants. So the choir is going to come up, and they're going to sing the song, Reach Out. And this is especially about immigration. And I want to acknowledge that this was written many years ago in a time when we still believed, and I think we still believe underneath it all, despite everything that's happening now, that this is a country that welcomes all. And whether our current administration believes it or not, we still do, right? We are still people who believe that this is a place that welcomes people from all lands, and we ourselves will make space for them. Thank you. Please join me if you can read the words above on our chalice extinguishing words. In fact, if you could blow out the chalice, extinguish the chalice. We extinguish this chalice today, but we know we are building a better world together. We are becoming better people together. We are living our lives together. We don't have to do it alone. And now, while Diana plays our traveling music, we are all going to go directly outside. Jamie's going to open the doors, and we're going to go directly outside and take our picture together. Thank you.